Déag the card. Where am I, John?
We're in a little town called Scariff, County Clare.
I'm in Scariff, County Clare, and I was picked up along the road by Carol, who's an activist here, an amazing woman, and she's brought me here to the house, fed me, watered me, and is pampering me for the night, and I'm getting spoiled. It's amazing. But I was talking to this man here, John, and he was involved this week in an action at Limerick University. So I want to introduce you to John. He'll tell you what was involved in this event. So if you want, and just tell us about what happened this week.
Yeah, it was last Sunday week, in fact, and we were at the World Frisbee Championships, if you ever thought there was such a thing in this world. But 48 countries, believe it or not, involved. But one of the teams invited to play was the Israeli team. And we decided, along with some others, to go and protest the participation of an Israeli national team with their flags on their back. And when we got to the ground, the Gardaí were present and there was protesters there. And at the start of the game, I couldn't believe that we were allowing an Israeli national team to participate on our turf, on our soil. And I just took a notion and ran onto the pitch and stopped the game and grabbed the frisbee and stopped the game. Obviously, I was arrested, taken to the local police station, handcuffed and charged and cautioned. But the point here really is that we left an Israeli team, despite what we know about them and the genocide in Palestine, we left them participate in a game in our soil. And my feeling was that they go back to their country and their people and they say, we competed, it's a victory for them. That was my feeling, and I just couldn't leave it go to give them even the slightest hint of a victory. And I just felt that we need to just stand up, and this is where it comes into it with our national soccer team, that we cannot allow ourselves to be participating with these people in whatever sport, whatever game, even if it's just frisbee. And we have to call a halt to that kind of thing.
It's crazy. I mean, who would have thought that a frisbee? It just seems so bizarre.
It seems bizarre, but there was thousands of people there and all nationalities. And a lot of the people, in fairness, teams from America, strangely enough, there was young lads from San Francisco who stood beside us in the protest and said they objected to Israeli teams. Some of the Germans did, so forth. But the fact that the University of Limerick, one of our universities, allowed them participate and play here, and the guards protected them, it's hard to imagine that this kind of sports washing and this kind of level of insidious kind of cleaning up of their genocide is allowed kind of continue. And my point again, going back to the fact that they go back home and they say, we participated, we played in Ireland, we got our sport, whatever seemingly meaningless sport frisbee is. But the same applies to this soccer match that's coming up. It's sports washing, it's little victories that we allow them by allowing them to participate. And the fact that they even came to this country and they had their Israeli flags on their back as they participated.
Absolute disgrace.
It's hard to imagine that that's allowed to continue.
And would you say there's a lot of collaboration between the universities and the Zionists? Are you aware of?
I don't know, but I was shocked that the University of Limerick would even allow it. Why would you draw that bad press upon you? But they didn't seem to care. They just didn't seem to care.
And the guards were on hand.
guards. There was a dozen guards on hand. Now the guards were not hugely interested until such time as somebody ran on the pitch, and then they got interested, but they didn't expect any trouble. But that is the point, that we're all complicit, and we have to bear responsibility for that by allowing them. You know, we're a colonized country, and we have to understand that they've come here to our turf, to all intents and purposes, and claimed our turf by playing on it. And that's the kind of stand we have to make, that we can't allow that to happen. We shouldn't allow that to happen.
Absolutely.
There is a level of shame on us that we've allowed that to happen. And if they get away incrementally with little steps like that, whether it sounds innocuous that it's a frisbee championship, but that's a little victory for them. That's a little step, a little notch that they've created, and a little victory that they said they beat us. They got in, they played, we won.
And that was a great action that you took there, and fair play to you for that. Will there be repercussions now for you charging? And
there will, but they're minor. You know, at the end of the day, if each of us could find in our heart to make a little step more than we have in the past, a little step is all it takes. Do something that you haven't done before. Make a stand that you haven't been brave enough to do before, that you couldn't find it in yourself to do before. Say it to someone. Bring it up in a conversation with someone. You know, whatever the forum, just to raise the profile. They're the little steps. They're the little things that will make the difference.
Absolutely. And then your wife, John, is involved with the film. Would you like to tell us about that film that's coming up?
Yeah, it's a film. It's a personal friend of ours. My wife is English, and I met her in London years ago, strangely enough, at an anti-apartheid picket 38 years ago. But a personal friend of ours, he's a doctor now who works, he's a Palestinian doctor, Dr. Ghassan Abu Sitta, and he spends a lot of his time working. He's in Beirut at present working. He's a plastic surgeon, a doctor of plastic surgery, and he's in Beirut at the moment working to reconstruct, believe it or not, the faces and the bodies of children who've been mutilated in the war in Gaza. And he's very political, and he has this is a fundraising venture, but this is a film that's being shown about his when he went back to Gaza after October the 7th. He spent 40 days working in the hospital in Gaza, and it's a story about that. It's horrific, it's horrible, it's not a pleasant movie, but it's reality. And it's being shown in Ennistimon on the 3rd of September, and in Nina on the 16th of September. We can upload some details, Kevin, if you'd like. And all going well, we'd like to take the movie around the country, because it's a very bare and naked facts about the truth of what's going on out in Gaza at the moment.
Yeah, and it's all the trauma and the damage that has been done to everyone that's been involved in that.
And I think what it really emphasizes is the whole business of targeting the children. You know, this business of how many children. It's horrific. War is war. It's a horrific thing, and don't get me wrong, but the fact that so many children are being deliberately targeted is an added horror to the whole thing.
Yeah, and then the fact that doctor left Harley Street every year to go to Gaza and went during that. I mean, that's courage on a level that we can't imagine.
Yeah, courage, and his own family are involved in living in out in the Middle East and in Beirut, and He's essentially a family of, or a refugee of the first Nakba from 1947. His parents and grandparents had to leave their land back in 1947 and moved to Kuwait, interestingly enough. So he's a child of refugees, and he sees the process being continued, for want of a better word, but the horror being continued. And a man who could be very successful in his own way and stay out of the whole thing, a plastic surgeon from Harley Street in London, as you say, but gives his time and effort to go back and
an inspiration like all the doctors, and
and targeted. The worst thing about poor Ghassan is that the British Medical Council, with the backing of the Israeli lawyers, are taking him to have taken him to court. They've lost the first battle, but they've taken him to court to get him kicked out of the General Medical Council in Britain, because they're claiming he's anti-Semitic. Like, it's almost ridiculous to think of it, but that's the reality, that people who do put their time and effort into something like this, and they'll go to the effort to undermine you and defame you, and then take it to the courts in the highest.
Well, he is one of maybe 60 or 70 doctors in the UK who are being dragged through the courts in that manner. He's not on his own there. But I know the most respected voices in society are doctors, and that's why they're targeting them. Yeah. Once again, to target people that are respected, the journalists, the doctors, the very best of humanity. They want to silence them, and that's just another method of doing it. But hopefully the courts will work for us, and he'd be able to continue practicing. So I'll be posting up a trailer for the film and some more information and links for tickets, and we'll do that in the next day or so. So it was amazing to talk to you, John, and Simone, your wife, and thanks very much.
It was great. It was great to meet you tonight, Kevin. We had some great conversations. Not very nice ones, hearing the facts about some of the things going on in Gaza, but at the same time, we need to spread these stories and get the word out there.
We have to keep it in the news. Thank you, John. Slán.